Well, time now for another check of the forecast. Brittany, hopefully the weather is going to be a lot chill, a lot more vibrant like we had this weekend. Fingers crossed, right?
First half of the work week, yes. We're bringing in a small chance of rain and storms by the end, but that's just kind of spring in the Carolinas. In fact, today we were much better even compared to Saturday. Highs in the mid 70s. It was gorgeous with all the blue sunshine, and I'm sure if you were outside, you noticed it felt amazing outside. 24-hour temperature change. We're about 5 to 15 degrees, depending on where you are. Cooler than where we were 24 hours ago because of that cold front rolling in. Saturday wasn't bad. We were in the 80s, but it was, of course, all the muggy air that was really sticking around for most of the week that made it feel less comfortable. Right now, temperature is 65 degrees. We're still seeing some of those high clouds lingering, so that has limited dropping our temperature so far. But as those mix out and the winds continue to lighten, we're going to drop into the low 50s overnight. Dew point very comfortable 41, which is very low, even comparatively for this time of year. We're going to see the lower 40s again tomorrow afternoon. We're looking at the 50s on Tuesday, so a small creep back up. And then really Wednesday, Thursday, Friday will be the 3 days this week that you'll notice the increase in humidity. Now, I mentioned this last week filling in on the morning show, and I'll tell you this again. 60s for this time of year is very humid. That gets you into that humid category. But by the summertime, when we're all the way up here into the 70s, into the muggy category, we'll be wishing that we had dew points in the 60s. So it's all relative, of course, depending on the time of year. Now, with high clouds still lingering, there is a chance of a little bit of drizzle, some light rain in the mountains overnight, just because they're at higher elevation. So sometimes when there's a little bit of moisture in the high clouds, you can get some of that little bit of drizzle action. Not expecting anything like that across the Charlotte area. A few more clouds to start off tomorrow, and then Monday afternoon, picture perfect, tons of sunshine. Now, although the overall pattern for the next few weeks is warmer than normal, if you look at the colors here, the 8 to 14 day temperature outlook, we're not quite as aggressive when it comes to our warmth over the next 2 weeks than where we were just a few days ago, if not just a few weeks ago. So we talked a lot about how entering the last few days of April, we were going to be substantially above average, which we still are, and entering May, we'll be likely at, if not warmer than normal, but again, just not quite as warm comparatively to the time of year. So the average temperature for today, 76. It's the same tomorrow. So we're slightly above that for the rest of the week. But again, notice Wednesday, last day of April versus Thursday, the first day of May, we will get another brief cool down here as we look at our next cold front coming in by the second half of next weekend. So actually next weekend, if we kind of stay on track here, looks to be similar to what we had this weekend. Small chance of rain on Saturday, warmer temperatures, and then another cool down heading into Sunday. Lows in the 50s tonight, a few spots in the upper 40s. Overall, comfortable. Yes, on the cooler side. Do I think everybody needs a heavy coat to step outside tomorrow? Absolutely not. A light jacket, maybe. Depends on how sensitive you are to the cold, but this is really where we typically should be for the month of April. Here's your Guy Roofing 7-day forecast. 79, sunshine Monday afternoon after starting in the 50s. Rinse repeat with cooler temperatures to start off Tuesday. We soar back into the mid 80s in the afternoon. Warmest day of the week on Wednesday. A new series, of course, the nights are at home this week, so things are going to be pretty warm. And then we see a few opportunities for rain and storms Thursday, Friday, Saturday, but nothing, of course, is widespread or a washout. Cooler and drier air by this time next weekend.